Hello, everybody, and welcome to Life Fight, the podcast where we talk the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, and all the things in between the big fight that is life. My name is Chris Harrington, and I'm sitting alongside my co-host and longtime friend, Daniel Denbraber.
What's going on, Butcher Boy, this week?
How are you, my friend?
Good, mate. Couple episodes in now, and we're no guest tonight, which we're pretty keen on actually, because we've actually just cracked a couple of beers.
That's it, mate.
On
Cheers,
a Thursday
mate.
night. Cheers. Yeah, so if you are on socials, obviously give us a follow on Life Fight Podcast on Instagram.
At Life Fight Podcast.
Yeah, so
and email at lifefightpodcast@gmail.com.
Perfect. So
hopefully we can get that for everything.
Yeah, for sure. And what we're, that's why we got the email, we got the Instagram page on as well, and we're keen for people to obviously hit us up as well. Like if they've got questions or they're struggling with I don't know, like fucking work or whatever, fucking Muay Thai or whatever, and they want to fire us a question. Hopefully, we can kind of not answer it, but, bring it to the table and maybe bring it to some of our future guests that are coming on and help someone out, hopefully, is what we're about, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I'm the first person to... and it's probably to my detriment in a way. Like, I'm the first person to, like, get over involved in other people's problems.
Yep.
and I put other people's issues before my own.
Yeah.
And sometimes that actually isn't the best for my my mental health, but that's just the way I roll, man. Like I like to help other people, and I usually put helping other people before helping myself. So
well, you're a caring guy, and I think I'm probably in a similar boat. I mean, that's why me personally, I love coaching. I think that's something that coaching especially is something that you have to give up your time for the benefit of your students and stuff like that. And I think you're probably in a similar boat where, especially if people are not struggling, but if you want to help them, like, or you want to listen, or you want to help them out, not with advice, because I don't think
it's not, you're not always in a position to give advice. Like, I can't give people advice because I've made some of the fucking dumbest fucking,
like, all of us,
decisions that anyone could ever possibly make. But I like to hope that I can learn from those stupid things I've done, and maybe at least, show other people maybe the things not to do rather than give them advice of what they should do. At least I'm an example of what not to do in a lot of situations. I
think you've been harsh on yourself, mate. I think the thing is I think everyone has problems, and we've spoken about this before. That some people. Like, I might go, oh, fucking hell, they didn't have any tomato sauce at the fucking supermarket. And that's, to me, the biggest fucking problem going on in the world,
Man, that's pretty good. That's pretty good if that's the biggest problem you got going on.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, I know, but that's the first thing that came to your head, fucking hell.
Right?
You must really get frustrated about tomato sauce.
Well, to be honest, I'm actually a mayonnaise fucking person, and that's the fucking Dutch in me, mate.
Dutch in you. But mayonnaise is good. I'm big on the Kewpie mayonnaise, which is the Japanese one. Have you had that?
Excellent. Yeah. And if we're going to go on the topics of fucking mayonnaise, right? If you ever go down to, so any of our local listeners, I'm actually based out in the eastern suburbs. There's a shop in Croydon Main Street, right, which is a European market shop.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know it.
Well, on Main Street down there, I don't know what the name of the shop is, but European Market or something like that. Go down, give it a go. Get yourself a bottle of fritter sauce, right?
Fucking hell.
Fritter sauce met patat, right? So patat met frites in Dutch
Jesus Christ.
is a cup of hot chips doused in mayonnaise. But it's not ordinary fucking praise mayonnaise. We're talking about fritter-sauce. And there is a big difference, mate. There is a fucking big difference. And that shit will set your fucking socks flying, mate.
Well, we've opened up a can of worms here, or should I say fritter sauce?
Fritter-sauce it is. So, but going back to what were we talking about? But going back to not giving yourself enough credit is I think because you're so passionate about, let's say mental health or whatever is, and someone is struggling or they're not giving you their problems, you make that a priority, right?
Yeah,
so
it's not that people are putting their problems on me. It's like that
you make it a priority.
Yeah, I make it my problem. Like I feel for people, like especially if I can relate to it. Like, you know what I mean? If it's in the same situation, so
yeah, for sure.
And it is a good thing because I like to help people. But like I said, I'm real enough in myself to know that like it's probably not the best thing for me. Like I should focus on myself more than I do. That's all I'm saying.
But anything that you're passionate about, so which you are, you're always going to make that a priority, and it's always something that you're always going to be fucking good at too. You know what I mean? And if that's listening to fucking a mate or something like that, fuck man, that's a good thing. It's a good thing because
I suppose it's like not so much to the extreme, but I guess like we talked to Murph the other day, and he was talking about the balance. Well, like if you want to. Life is about finding balance, whereas when you're a fighter, like there is no balance because the balance, like to get good, there's only one way the balance can be.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's sort of like that in a way. Like when you're passionate about something, your balance is thrown way off, which isn't a bad thing, but I think you got to pull yourself up every now and again and find and bring that balance back.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. And like obviously we've spoken to a couple of guests over the last couple of weeks previously and no guests today. And
it's just a home team reflection today.
Home team reflection. But this is your little baby and something that you're passionate about and something that you've gone through a little bit with yourself. And you said, with Murph or that it's something that it's never going to go away. So, and I understand that, and I'm more in your corner to support you with it. Is how did you personally go with obviously 10 years fighting? Would I say, Chris?
Yeah, about that.
10 years fighting.
Stopped in sort of retired once, I think, when I got married and stuff like that, and then went back to it. Yeah, about 10 years all up. Yeah,
and that's a long time, right? Of fucking living that life.
Yeah.
Which I spent pretty much that whole 10 years with you, and then like just going like you're a plumber now.
Yeah, just a plumber.
Not just a plumber, mate. Fucking
good. I'm a good plumber.
Good
man.
plumber.
Everything I do. I make sure I do it properly.
Yeah, yep. And you're doing that now, and and for anyone that knows, like, Chris when he fought, his nickname obviously was the Butcher, and everyone's like, oh, the Butcher, because fucking. I think John O'Armond said he slices, he dices, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I would have said,
I was actually a butcher though.
Exactly. Like everyone's like, you're probably like a Muay Thai fighter, like kind of clinch and knee fighter. Probably would you say?
No, well, I'd actually say I liked that was what I liked.
Yep.
But the way I was trained, like by Hammer, was to be so I was not like what I liked wasn't like the way Hammer trained me, and I was so stubborn to him sometimes, and he used to fucking slap me in the corner and say, "Fucking listen to me, cunt," like fucking listen to me, otherwise I'm fucking. Some of the sprays, man, that bloke would give you in the corner were like fucking could have gone down in history, like if only it was like massive production and they had like the full Fox Sports like corner things.
Yeah, like they do now.
Yeah, well, if it was on Fox Sports and they had like the full production and where they had the corner, like, mate, you wouldn't have to be speaking fucking English to know what this bloke was saying. Like, he was, mate, like, he'd slap you, he'd say, fucking, this is fucking it. If you don't start fucking listening to me and fucking performing, fucking done, you're fucking done. You're not allowed in the gym on Monday. And,
old school, proper old school, right?
Well, for me, because he's a little bit like my dad in that way. Like my dad used to be like real hard on me, and like I'd get my back up against the wall and be like, "Fuck you, I'll fucking show you," So when Hammer did that to me, I'd be like, "Fuck you, mate, like I'll fucking show you."
Yeah,
and
but he knows how to fucking poke and prod to get the best out of
for
clients, right?
For some people that would just like put them like full. If you did that to certain people, they'd be like, "Oh," and they'd just fold. Yeah. But for me, it was like, "Oh, I'm fucking just as pissed off."
Fuck you, man! I'm gonna stick this up your ass.
I'm just as pissed off with you as I am in that cunt in the fucking on the other corner, man. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, that used to get me going. So his sprays were good. But yeah.
Yeah, going back to and you were fighting or whatever, but I remember you like as when you were fighting, you were doing your not butcher apprenticeship, but you were working as a butcher in Baldwin. Am I correct?
Baldwin, man.
Yeah. And that's where the name of the butcher came from.
That's where it came from, because I definitely wasn't like a, was it like a, full
slice
like, just
and
cut
dice
in and
and
throw the elbows.
Yeah.
Like I was the way Hammer trains is more of like a technical, like in and out, like a Floyd Mayweather, man. Like hit, don't get hit. It was always big on that. Hit, don't get hit.
Yeah.
Which is like obviously the best way to be,
and then
the
so now
smartest way to be. But in the gym, like all I ever did, like was clinch and knee and want to be in your face and up close.
Well, I always remembered fucking sparring you, and I was fucking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in and fucking spar the butcher and fucking blah blah blah. And I always knew that it was a fucking 1-2 step up knee. And I knew that fucking 10 years, and it still fucking landed on me. So, but now you're
mind you, sometimes I like, obviously when people actually used to think when they used to actually think my clinch game was weak, because I just didn't do it that much in the fights because I was just listening to Hammer.
Yeah.
So it was good because people would like, that would be their strategy to like get in and clinch.
Yeah.
And like then it was good because they were like, fuck, this guy can clinch. And
Yeah.
Hopefully you've got a plan B, because like, your plan A is not going to work out for you. But it was good. Like, I don't know. I just Hammer. He's not a traditional like Muay Thai. Don't get me wrong. He's forgotten more about Muay Thai than fucking a lot of people in Australia have ever fucking known. And he definitely doesn't get the credit for that. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
But he's been going over there since fucking the 80s, mate. So telling his age right there, but it doesn't matter.
Hello, Hammer.
Hey, buddy. But yeah, so he's like I said, he's not the traditional trainer. He's more of the, like fucking Bruce Lee, what we talked about with Goal. He used to cop shit from the traditionals because he used to take things out of every sport and try and take the best aspects out of every sport and put them together. Well, Hammer did the same thing. He used to take the footwork out of boxing, the hands out of boxing. He used to take the blocking, which isn't necessarily the best for Muay Thai, but it out of Dutch kickboxing, where you like block with the arms, but when you block them the arms, it opens you up for like a quick inside leg kick or outside leg kick. Whereas if you're checking, you might not necessarily be able to do that. So he'd take all the best things from everything, like elbow combinations. Like,
yeah,
no one does it. Like, watch fucking River fight, man. Like, River was actually the perfect dude because he had the athleticism of Hammer's perfect student, whereas I didn't. I was never real athletic. I was just a hard worker. Whereas River was a hard worker and he had that athleticism.
Yep.
So he could do all the things that Hammer wanted to do. Like a lot of things Hammer wanted me to do, I used to be like, fuck, I can't do this shit, man. I'm not actually fucking that good enough for this, you know? Like, no matter how hard I fucking try. But, like, fucking watch some of Rivers fights, man. Like, he's throwing elbows like punches.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, bang, 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 like combinations. Like, fucking no one does that shit.
I remember when he fought Q on Rebellion. And he was fucking in and out with hands and then 2-hit elbow combination or whatever.
Who does that shit?
And then he's gone, man.
Who
like
does
he'd
that?
angle out.
Yeah, who
Crazy.
does that shit?
Yeah, yeah. So
that's what I mean about Hammer. Like, he's a bit of a fucking... Probably doesn't get his credit as... He gets his credit as a trainer, but probably doesn't get his credit as, like, a fighter trainer, I guess. But that's only... I'll tell you why that is, man. That's only because he couldn't be... unless he was... Like, he wouldn't have trained you unless you meant something to him.
Yeah.
Like, people come and go from that gym.
Yeah.
Like, people would come from Thailand and international, whatever. He doesn't owe anyone anything. He couldn't be fucked. He's not going to put his time into you if you're just going to have a couple of fights and fuck off.
The thing is, everyone's got an opinion, and you know what? They're entitled to their opinion. We're fucking sitting here with a podcast. We're entitled to our opinion. Blah, blah, blah.
Couple of drinks down, by the way.
And what's right, what's wrong, you know?
No.
And I'm not going to get fucking offended by anybody, you know. I think you're the same, you know. And you know what? I'm always happy to listen too.
I'll tell you right now, I've gone through that much shit in my life, and I've made some people I care about really disappointed with things that I've done, and I've really hurt people that I love. The opinion of someone that I don't give a fuck about does not mean a fucking thing to me.
No, and that's the thing is, like, I'll always respect someone's opinion, and they're entitled to that, and that's okay. So I'm not here to fucking slag anybody, blah blah blah, like, you know. And because I think, unfortunately, with the world of today, is we are so worried about fucking people's opinion. It's like, oh well, you know, I'm saying this is he's got a really good right kick or whatever, and someone's like, he's right kick shit, and then you get into an argument, you know, fuck, who cares? Who cares, you know? And unfortunately, I think it gets in people's head, and you know, I always go back to the social media, and like, you know, if my wife listens to this, she's going to be like, yeah, here he is on his fucking rant again about social media, because it is
just chill, Carly, chill.
It's a big problem because they're looking to fucking please everybody else, and this is where the mental side comes into it, because you're trying to fucking win over somebody else with their opinion, and it doesn't matter, and they're probably never going to fucking agree with you anyway. So why bother? You know. So,
well, look, we all just want people to see things the way we see things, you know.
Do you though?
I think, well, yeah, like, that's why people get so, they get so enthusiastic about trying to change someone's opinion. I'll push back on that myself. I don't think people really care if you've got the same opinion as them. I think people just want you to recognize why they've got that opinion.
Yeah, mate. Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
That's maybe, like, me personally, I'll be like, Yeah, man, no worries.
It's
I'm happy to listen.
It's like women, bro. Like,
oh fuck, here we go, women. So
like they don't like they'll tell you about all their problems, right? They don't want a solution. They just want you to go, yep, I understand.
that's probably a little bit me, man. Like I probably go, yeah, no worries, fucking blah blah blah. I just
But they just want you to understand that they just want you to recognize that they've got fucking a problem with this or that. They don't want a fucking solution. You give them a solution, they get more angry.
maybe because it's wrong. It's your opinion, right?
Exactly.
So
They just want you to recognize why they're upset.
I'm going to put a line through the women because I'm a bit nervous where this might go, right? But going back to so now you're
I love women. I would never say anything bad.
You're now
spitting facts over here.
You're now plumbing, which you finish your apprenticeship.
Yeah, mate, it's been a while.
So yeah, but that you say so, what I'm saying is like 10 years fighting, and while you're fighting.
While I was fighting, I was doing an apprenticeship plumbing, yeah, at the end. Yeah.
Oh, you were doing plumbing at the end? Okay. Yeah, because I always thought that it was just like...
Which was fucking hard, shop. Man, because I did my apprenticeship, mate, like I started in like union commercial and it was the fucking worst job I've ever had in my life, mate. It nearly put me off the whole fucking thing.
Well, I remember when you were coming out of you're doing your butchery and you said, listen, I don't know, what age were you? Late 20s?
I think I started my plumbing apprenticeship like 27.
Yeah, so 27. And I remember
I think I fought till I was about 30.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So 5-6 years ago, yeah.
Because I remember when you said to me, you go, hey, listen, I think I'm going to change and I want to get a trade behind me, so and that's a big decision in itself too.
But do you know, looking back on it now, do you know what that was? That was thinking about that was me taking 1 foot out of fighting.
So do you reckon that was like a little bit of not an excuse, but it's like, I've got to concentrate on my work now?
When I started doing the thing as a butcher, I only did that because I didn't know what else to do. I was just a kid.
But you started out in the butcher shop, like even like as a kid, right? 15,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So like the only reason I was working there already, and the boss said you may as well get the qualification under your belt. You're working here every day.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, whatever. It suits my time for training and all that shit. And I just was happy doing that whole time because it just worked around my training.
This because fighting was the priority, right?
Fighting was the priority, and that's why. So, and I look back on it now, I'm like, when I said to myself, and I was with my ex-wife at the time, and I didn't think it at the time, but like when I look back on it, when I was thinking I needed to change, because butchering, the money's not that good. Well, it's not good. You work a lot of hours for not much. And when I thought I've got to start doing something else, subconsciously that was me putting competing second. And that is, I did have some okay fights after that, but that's definitely when the training and everything changed and was put, second.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And at some stage, so for active fighters, currently or whatever, active athletes currently, at some stage, that decision needs to be made, right? So of like, well, I've got to look towards life after sport. And yours was plumbing, and that's fine. And you're still doing that currently. And I think it's a big decision for athletes as well, right? To go, rightio. So you were like, okay, I've got to start thinking about what am I going to do in my 40s, 50s or whatever? And for you, it was like plumbing. Okay, I want to start going down that avenue. What was the like kind of trigger point to go, fuck, man, like I've been doing this for a while, fighting, blah, blah, blah. What was the trigger point? Was it a fight? Was it training, or was it something in the gym, or were you like...
No, it was meeting my ex-wife, like, and just thinking about kids.
Yep.
And all that stuff, and obviously fighting. You never start it for the money.
Did you have... So you didn't have Arch while you're fighting, were you?
No.
That was fully after.
No, and even Frankie, like that was after too. I didn't have any kids.
Yeah.
Me and my ex-wife actually tried for fucking ages, man, to have kids, and it just never happened. You know, she had some I'll say technical issues because I don't know what else to fucking even call it.
Which is a common thing in itself.
And then, so basically, we're trying for ages. And basically, the story of like how my shit ended was, in a nutshell, we were trying for ages. You know, while I was fighting, get this big fight in Vegas versus the ex-UFC guy, who was like known as a kickboxer in the UFC. The winner of that fight would have fought the guy who had the Lion Fight Championship for the belt, who was that Joe Nuttawut, I think.
Yep.
Like, fucking pretty sick fighter. And, felt like, so never trained so hard in my life for this fight, man. Like, trained like an animal. Like, you know, I'm butchering at 6 o'clock in the morning while I was in the gym at 4 doing my strength and conditioning. And then after work, I was in the gym, you know, 2-3 hours. Like, I'd go for a 5K run. Mind you, I've fucking done 20,000 steps at work, and then I'm going for a 5K run, and then I'm doing my 2 hours of training. That was just what I did. Never knew anything different. That's just what I did. And then...
Which is what... You're going to be top level. That's what you got to do too, right?
Oh, man. Like, just because it's fucking... You know, it'd be great to be like an AFL player and have like your whole day to recover and do all this shit, but that just fucking ain't fucking what you're doing in Muay Thai, bro. Like, yeah, maybe the top 2% of the sport have the money to do it because they make money through their fights. Like maybe the John Wayne Pars and all that sort of stuff don't have, like, but even though they're still doing PTs.
But even currently, so sorry to interrupt, but if we're going to go on to fighter purses, let's say Chad Collins, you know, probably one of the best fighters in Oz right now. What's his purse?
Couldn't tell you, man, but I'd say 10 grand.
I'm going to say a little bit more. I'm probably going to say he's probably pushing for 20, I reckon. So I think it's changed, and he's a real active guy, right? So he's at least fighting 5 times. He's always fighting over in Japan on Rise.
Yeah, but you've got to think who's paying that. Like,
well, he's international, right? On Rise in Japan, they're paying, man. He fought in Dubai. On Peter Hatton's Alpha Series, they're paying, you know. They got the backings, you know, and it all comes from sponsorship.
So do you know what happened? Like, so I had that fight with Alex Ilioski on Rebellion.
Yep.
And I broke my hand in like the fucking first or second round.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
And I was still hitting with that hand. I was just like, if you look at the video closely, you can just see my face like wincing every time I'd hit with that hand, you know, like. And that after that fight, like my hand was fucked, man, for ages. Like, and I kept training. Like the cartilage, actually, like the cartilage was gone, and my bones in my hands fused together, and it's still not right to this day. If I put too much impact on it, even when I was holding pads at the gym with your guys the other night, you know, I fucked my hand.
Yeah.
And that made me think, like, yeah, if you're earning even 20 grand a fight, like, and you're out for 6 months.
Or some of these plumbers are making 20 grand a week, mate.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what are you going to make, 40 grand a year? Fuck, that ain't going to cut it, bro.
Yeah.
So,
So do you reckon something like that against Ilioski was like a little bit of the turning point to go?
Well, I was already doing my plumbing apprenticeship then, but like I said, I had half a foot out. And if I already had half a foot out, well, then after that, I had the whole foot out.
Yeah. So
and it's just a process. Like, it's just, and then, like, I think I can't remember which episode it was on, but I mentioned the fucking Will Smith concussion movie, and that fucking changed me too, man.
Yeah.
Because, like, I started thinking about the way I behave sometimes and how I don't give a fuck about what other people's feelings I might hurt, and I just do fucking dumb, erratic shit.
I think the concussion one's an interesting one as well. Is there's so much, like my kids play. Actually, my young boy's got a little sparring day or whatever coming up this week, and he's getting back into Muay Thai and stuff like that. And me personally, as a parent, I don't really worry about it, like whether they're playing footy or Muay Thai and stuff like that.
Dude, I'm sorry to cut you off, but even though I worried about it for myself, I'm not going to worry about it for my kids, man. Like, you've got one life to live, bro.
And the thing is like,
and if you want to be good at something, you got to fucking take the good with the bad.
Well, there'll be mixed reports on people saying this as well. You know, us talking about this and going, "Oh, we don't care." What I don't understand, right? As we're having a beer, you know, there's people every Saturday night fucking down and 40 fucking beers, right? And they're worried about a little jab or whatever, you know, bloody going to their head. Well, stop drinking the 40 beers and destroying your brain cells, mate. Because I reckon that shit is worse, right?
Well, I think it definitely doesn't help. I mean, I look at guys like Lennox Lewis is pretty famous for how fucking smart he is. You know, he's had some hard fights. Like, he's been knocked out.
Yep.
You know, top of the range boxer.
A big guy.
Big guy, heavyweight. So you're always going to be taking big hits.
100%.
But he is like a chess master. He's like top tier chess player. Like, he plays online. And he said he got into it because he was worried about CTE, and he just wanted something to keep his brain ticking. And he's, man, like, if you've ever listened to him on any podcast or anything like that, like, he's fucking, man, he is like, for what he's done and what he's been through, he's one of the sharpest people you'll ever hear.
And I'm big on that personally, right? So, as you know, I've been pretty much in business, you know, for myself or whatever since kind of like a kid, 21. Anyway, I come out of a business last year, and one thing I found is once I sold that business and got out of it, I had a lot more spare time, you know, and me, I need that activity to continue just keeping busy. But if I wasn't doing anything and my kids would go to school or whatever, and my wife would go to work or whatever, and then I'd mow the lawns, I'll sit down, have a cup of tea, blah, 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 then your brain starts, I think, playing tricks on you. You know, you start feeding yourselves with evil thoughts and stuff like that. And I don't know, like, I'm not an advocate for mental health, but I am big on saying, keep busy, do something for yourself, keep the mind healthy, because it's probably one of the strongest muscles is your brain, right? Is fucking
no, it's the most important.
Yeah, and then when it's resting, like, I know mine is just going and firing away, and that's when it can fire away and have good coming in one way, and it can also have bad coming in the other way, you know? So I think, as I said, I'm not an advocate for mental health, but I am big on having a purpose, and whether that's getting up and going to work, take your kids to school, go in the gym, hitting pads or whatever, and having a routine. Go and have your holidays, man.
Every human needs a purpose, man.
Definitely, because otherwise, what the fuck are we doing out there?
No,
right?
that's it. Like, unfortunately, some people find a purpose in doing bad things, but that's where they find their purpose. Like, everyone needs a purpose because otherwise, like, we're human beings, mate. Like, everyone's got the same, everyone has the same wants and needs.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Whether or not you find a healthy way to fulfill those,
Yep.
well, it is just it's a matter of your education, your upbringing, many factors that sort of that affect how you're going to find that purpose. But everyone has the same wants and needs.
And if I tap back into yourself, so you've had your ups and downs, and I know, you work with some of my guys and girls or whatever, just holding pads every now and then, right? And you said, I just want to get moving and stuff like that again. And the healthy lifestyle, like I'm obviously a gym owner or whatever, and I've always been active my whole life. But and you say that purpose. Getting up and doing something fucking healthy, and whether it's hitting pads, going for a walk, fucking running and stuff like that. Would you say that that's a necessity?
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, sometimes, like, so even for example, so I haven't been down to your gym for a couple of weeks, and that couple of weeks, like, it goes quick, but you start, like, at least for me, like,
Bad habits?
no, I wouldn't say bad habits, but
Easter, chocolate.
Yeah, well, a little bit of that. But what I will say is,
My
like,
rib. I fucking. Oh. If Aaron's listening to this, fuck, my rib hurts, man. My rib.
What'd you do? You tried to do one of my tricks and catch a kick?
No. Fuck, I've been saying, angle off kick, fucking angle off kick, and fucking was flushed this one.
No, she angled off and kicked you, mate. What do you want?
So, tick for you, Aaron.
She's listening.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nah, well, fucking know what I'm talking about.
No, we were talking, going back to health and fitness.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can, like, man, like, especially, so there's two, so you can be, grinding out, doing the healthy fitness thing, doing, getting your run in or doing whatever. And then because you do it so often, you could be like, oh, I'll just have this fucking one night off, But then, like, you get trapped, and then that one night, you might sit at home and just have a couple of beers and watch telly or whatever. But then all of a sudden, that one night turns to 2, turns to 3, 4, 5. And then, like, for me, because I've been going down regularly and, like, helping out and feeling good, like, working, like, fucking sore afterwards, man, like, to be honest, but, like, in a good way, like, not waking up sore, like, from not doing something, waking up sore from actually fucking doing something good. But then, yeah, you can just get sort of stuck in, like, in that habit of giving yourself a break.
But during that time, whether you're holding pads, hitting pads or whatever, whether it's a run, right? I don't know about you, but I'm saying for me personally, all I'm worried about is fucking not getting elbowed in the face. Like if you're freestyle pads or whatever, right? And and it makes you feel good, right?
Yeah, fucking 100%, man. Exercise is the best medicine, like, definitely. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be combat sport. Go lift some weights, man. You're always going to feel better after it. Like, I don't think anyone ever walks into any gym feels worse coming out as what they went in.
Well, I don't think so either. No, I mean, again, this goes back to the opinion thing. Fucking everyone's going to have one.
Look, I think it's pretty safe to say, man, like,
majority.
The majority is going to speak.
Yeah, agreed.
Is going to agree with us on that one. But yeah, sometimes it's just the hardest part is going in there, man. Like, but even when I was fighting, bro, like, I had times when I'd sit in the car, like in the car park, and I just fucking wouldn't get out, like fucking.
Because you thought it was a hard session.
Nah, just because I don't know. I don't know. I just have time, like, because like you said, you got someone on one shoulder, someone on the other.
Mm.
I just have someone on one shoulder saying, you work hard, give yourself the night
Yeah,
off. You
yeah.
know, like, listen to your body, have the night off. And the difference is when you're like keen and motivated, that other guy pops up and says, tell that cunt on your fucking left-hand shoulder to shut the fuck up. You're fucking going in there.
Do you know, interesting, I was at the gym tonight, and I had one of my members as well, so just having a bit of a hard time and stuff like that. And I said to him, I said, listen, just go home, you know? And they were just like, nah, like, this is what makes me happy, clears my mind, blah, blah, blah. I just want to have a hit out and stuff like that. And straight away, like, I started thinking about, you know, the guests and stuff, what we've been talking about. And it's just fact that we need a bit of activity, you know, and that purpose in life or whatever. And even, you know, this particular person or whatever was saw him at the start and then at the end, and just a happier person, you know.
Yeah.
And fuck, that shit fulfills me,
And
you know.
man, even if like you've just forgot, like even if like
For an hour,
yeah,
everything's gone.
Even if it's better having 1 hour where you're not thinking about the bullshit of life than to have no hours. You know what I mean? Like,
and then you go home and sit on the couch, and for that hour, it's fucking getting worse, man.
Yeah, well, like what I'm saying is, even if like you do that hour where you've cleared your head, if you go home and you start thinking about that fucking bad shit again, at least you've had that fucking hour of clarity where you can just like, not think about anything, you know, like, and that's what exercise is. And it's scientific, man. Like, you know, it releases the good endorphins and
proven,
all that jazz. So like, it really is important, man. And we forget that a lot of the time, you know.
Yeah.
Majority of people forget that. I know, I do too, man.
Well, I mean, life gets busy and it's like, oh, fuck, I don't have time and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I think people need to stop and go, nah, listen, man, I need to put aside this hour, 2 hours or whatever and make that a priority. You said yourself earlier when we were chatting, is you make other people's problems a priority, whereas you might go, nah, man, I need to take the dog for a walk and leave my phone on the fucking kitchen bench, you know? Yeah. Things like that I think are important. But as I said, I don't want to be some advocate on how to fix stuff. That's for sure, because I'm not qualified for that, you know. But I just think,
you know, that's not what this is about, man. Like,
in the end, I'm just saying, I know that makes me feel better if I go to the gym or even just leave my phone on the kitchen bench and I take the dogs, my 2 fat bulldogs, for a walk,
mate,
or whatever.
You just say what helps you.
Yeah.
And, you know,
that might help someone else.
That might help someone else. And that's what this podcast is about, brother. Like, we're not trying to be, you know, we're not trying to be like anyone's.
We're no doctors.
No. What we're just trying to do is just talk about things and talk about real shit. And you know, hopefully we can just people can get some knowledge about, you know, just stories from, you know,
and also relate, right?
And relate too, man. And just realize, like, we're like, you know, we've had like, you know, like I've done pretty good as a athlete. You know, we're gonna have people on that are even, you know, more well known and done even better at their craft. And people are going to realize, like, they're not on a pedestal. Like, we're all the same.
Yep.
We're all the same. Like I said to you before, doesn't matter who it is. Like, we're human beings. We all have the same needs. We all need love. We all need attention. We all need, you know, a hobby. We all have the same basic needs, man. And it's just about, you know, finding how we can get those needs met and putting that energy into good things and rather than bad things.
Yeah. So on that, we won't name names, but we've got a couple of exciting guests. You know, we've got probably another, you know, good 3 to 5 guests coming up, and they're going to share out their stories with us as well. And some are athletes, and others are just people that have just gone through the highs and lows. So I'm looking forward to that over the next couple of weeks.
The next podcast I'm really looking forward to, man.
Yeah.
The next one we got booked in.
So
you know, not an ex-fighter or an ex-athlete, just going to be someone with a really, really good story that I'm really, really like. I know like 10% of the story, and and for me personally, I'm just really looking forward to having this guy in and having a chat, man. So that's going to be, you know, keep your ears out for this next episode, man, because it's going to be good.
Yeah. So on that, we'll wrap this one up because it's a bit of a yarn for us, and we're happy with how things are going, and we're looking forward to next few people coming on board with us.
For sure, man.
Over and out, Butcher.
Over and out, brother.
See you later, boys.